to the New Times program. So, Dr. Friday, let's just make sure that we're hearing you loud and clear. Dr. Friday, you hearing
I,
us?
I am I am here. I'm here. You can hear me.
Yes, loud and clear. Glad to
Yeah.
have you here on the New Times program. Happy Monday to you. How was the weekend?
Thank you so much. Weekends, boy. I don't know whether we should take the week off or the weekends off, because the weekends tend they tend to be so hectic, but in a good way this time. As you know, during the week we had my big fair on Wednesday, and it's been kind of it's been very challenging to get all of the pieces together, and all the cleanup afterwards, and thanking all the people who contributed. I want to just again do so, all the persons who came down on the boat on Wednesday and was there with us under the almond tree, and for the people who came out from all over Beckway to be a part of it. It was a fantastic, wonderful event, and I want to thank everybody who took part in it and those who helped in putting it together, so they could be so much fun for so many people. Let me say good afternoon to everybody all over St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You're quite right. This is, and for those in the diaspora in New York, Toronto, and various other places in between, thank you for being part of the program. It's been a fairly busy day thus far. This morning, as you know, was another radio program on a different radio station, and on VFM. And I was also had a meeting just concluded with His Excellency Shankar Balachandran, who is the Indian High Commissioner. He's resident in Belize, but he is, St. Vincent and the Grenadines is part of his portfolio. Very nice guy. We had met him when he first came here about 2.5 years ago, and he's leaving now, and paid a visit with myself and Excellency, his and Fitz Bramble, and with uh, Laverne King, our public relations officer, and we had a good chat. Brief but good chat. And then prior to that, of course, we had a meeting with the IMF team that is visiting here as part of their annual Article 4 consultation with the government. And as part of that process, they meet with us as opposition. So we had a meeting with them here at my office for a bit over an hour, and exchange our views with them, frankly, and tell them how we see things. And I'm sure they'll have their report, and we look forward to, as always, it's an important document because the IMF is an important institution, and they have clout, and what they say, people take them seriously. So we always find the time and the preparation necessary to take part in that meeting. And we had meeting here. Major was here, and Representative Bramble and Olivier and Senator Chevron John, several other members of my team who were here, and we had a good discussion, as I said. So here we are now, Colin, and we are. I am kind of giving you the short end, if you like, because I am here with you today, but only for a short time because I have another commitment with some young constituents. A school in Beckwith had promised to meet with them, and with the class, and to have a discussion with them about things of governance and so forth. And we had to put it off from a previous time, and I don't want to disappoint them again. So I'm going to be going down to have a meeting with them around 2:15, a little bit later. So I'm looking forward to that. They I met one of the youngsters yesterday, and she said, "Oh, Dr. Friday, I'm coming to see you tomorrow." And I thought, "Oh my goodness, I gotta make sure I'll be there."
Exactly. Very much committed to that now.
Yes. So there we are. So that's what it is for the day, and so far very productive. I take my job very seriously, Colin. I try and reach out to people. I had an interview, as I said, in another radio station this morning, and we spoke about various things, and we're gonna follow up on that because I got there a little bit late, so I didn't get my full hour. But I want to go back to get the rest of it at some other time. So tell them to invite you back. They said that they will. So I'm looking forward to that. Of course, we have um, You asked me how my weekend was. It was hectic, but it was also constructive. We were wrapping up the May Fair events and making sure everything is done before you left them, and nobody has any interest in getting them done again. So we got it all done on Sunday evening. I have a good friend of mine from law school days. He's visiting here from Canada as well. So I found a little time to spend some time with him and his wife. They're very dear friends of mine. They've been here 100 times, and really they came here because I was here. So I feel honored that they would
Yes.
do that. And now they've made friends um, throughout the community in Lower and so forth, where they normally stay. So that's what the weekend was. But it was also getting back in touch with people because I've been moving around so much, and get a chance to actually engage in my own constituency. And sometimes, you can't take people for granted, Colin. Even when you say, well, yes, Friday, we understand you have to do this and you have to do that, they still look forward to meeting me and having a chance to chat with me. So I did some of that as well. And will continue to do that. I tell my colleagues that, that is the hallmark of representation, and you do it daily, every day, because your constituents, they want to hear from you, they want to see you, they want to be able to know that you're accessible. And that is part of the job. And if you're not really up for that, then you're not up for the job. You really should be always trying to make time. We know you can't do it for everybody all the time,
Right.
but and people are understanding, they're reasonable. But you make the effort and you try and find the time to give to the people who you're asking to represent, asking them to give you the honor of representing them. So, of course, you have to find out from them what it is you want me to represent you about. You can't assume that. You can't stand back and say, look, I know everything. I could do this myself. You don't have to tell me nothing. Listen, and I'll tell you this. And that's how the fellows on the other side function. They know everything,
Right.
you know, and they've got us here in this mess that we have, where the economy of the country is just in a stalemate. I met under the almond tree a couple of days ago. I met two gentlemen who one was doing his business and another one called me over and he said, this is the situation that they're complaining about. Is that, as one of the other gentlemen said, he said, the economy in this country is dead. He said, it's just so hard to make ends meet, and he is in a tourism kind of related business. But he, before me, I said anything, he was basically lamenting the fact that it's gotten harder to live in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That's a fact. And so one of the things, as you know, we have said, and that I continue to let people know, to assure them that we understand that pressure that they're under. And the reason we're under that pressure is because the economy isn't functioning. So we have a plan to rebuild the economy of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, to have the productive sectors, the four pillars of our economy, all stronger and growing. And when they do, then so much more opportunity will be provided for people to do business, and also for businesses to provide service and so forth, and to make um, profit and so forth. That is what our plan is. And it's about, when you have those things, when you have a functioning economy that's growing, so many more things are possible. The healthcare system that we lament so much because it's in terrible shape, that is something that will benefit from a thriving economy because the government has more revenue to main things. You know, the 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 the, the expectation is that you have, the basic healthcare service that is provided. My understanding is the MRI machine is down. If that is down, then it means that people have to go elsewhere to get services that they had come to expect to be provided here. And how long has it been down? If it's still down, and if it's still down, then when? How much longer will it be? And what is the cause? And all of those things that the Minister of Health should come to the people and tell them and say, listen, this is the situation. It is. Don't panic. We're going to have this up and ready and running. But instead, they try to play um, secret and quiet so that deal that nobody going to notice. So the the plan of the New Democratic Party is to create an economy that is working, that is growing. So it will create jobs, and better paid jobs, not just jobs, but we suffer from low wages in this part of the Caribbean. It's in Vincent and the Grenadines, the lowest in the region, to be exact. And so we have to turn that around. We have to make our people more productive. In agriculture, we have to use new techniques to make our farmers more productive and to help them with inputs and marketing and so forth. So we have that pillar of the economy, agriculture. We also have the tourism sector, which has tremendous potential, tremendous potential. But it ain't gonna grow automatically. You have to have an environment that attracts and encourage people to come and invest there in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That streamlines the process. That you understand that it's open and transparent. That what you are doing is not no special favor that you're getting from government. So then you have to return a favor at some point down the road. But that this is how the system functions. It is one that is designed to facilitate investment, and so that will help our tourism economy to take off because we are still very far behind. Places like St. Lucia, Antigua, in terms of development of tourism when we have so much potential. So that's an area that we are going to focus on. We speak of the blue economy. I mentioned this morning in my discussions with the IMF people. What is the potential there for development, and how are we going to get our fishing industry as one component of it, our yachting sector, and that much neglected facility down at Otley Hall, the Otley Hall Marina and Shipyard, to get that functioning and humming and really, providing service to our boat building and our ferry and cargo boat industry, but also to provide jobs for young people, skilled jobs in welding and painting and diving and electrical and engineering and stuff like that. That really is there. It's just that the government just will not allow that facility to get off its knees and to basically to function in the way that it can and that it was intended to do, because they don't want James Mitchell and the NDP's vision for that to be vindicated. But we will turn it around within the first term of an NDP government. That facility will be up and running and providing lots of jobs for young people and spin-offs for the economy and service, of course, to our shipping industry, whether it's the ferry service or the inter-island schooners, inter-island vessels, and also to the yachting industry. There's so much potential there, and I can't wait to be able to implement what we talk about here. That is to rebuild our economy, focusing on the four pillars: agriculture, tourism, the blue economy, and the new economy, to develop sports, to develop the creatives, what is happening in our creative industries, to tell people that, listen, this is not just a matter for you to say, listen, I enjoy doing this is my hobby and so forth. No, there's some people who can actually make a living doing it, the thing that they're passionate about. And we have to provide, as a state, as a country, the opportunity for them to do so. So that is what we talk about when we say we are going to rebuild the economy, focusing on these four pillars. And of course, once the economy is thriving, so many more things become possible. The assistance to the school programs, the having medicine and bandages in the hospital, fixing the terrible potholes that are all across the country. All of those things become possible. But you got to focus on building the economy. Borrowing and begging, the government brings money in for government, but it is not an alternative for a thriving economy. Those things, that money that the government begs for, borrows, is supposed to be invested in infrastructure that then allows the private sector to grow, to use that to grow. And we don't see that enough connection or interest is being paid by government to make that link between the private sector. In fact, they approach the private sector, especially the local private sector, almost grudgingly, look down the nose at them as though they because the government's spending more money than them, that the government somehow has superior acumen for doing this sort of thing. When in fact, we have to rely on our local private sector. We have to attract foreign direct investment into the country if we want the country to take off and to grow at a rapid rate. 1 and 2% growth will not create jobs, will not create the tax revenue that we need to be able to fix the things that are broken in this country. And so many things are broken, to put the necessary investments in crime fighting so we could get this terrible scourge of homicides and gun-related crime under control. These are things that we need to do, Colin. And the New Democratic Party, we are offering ourselves as a vehicle for change because we know that the country needs it, and we will work in partnership with all the people of this country to make it happen. I come back to what I said at the very beginning of my brief presentation here, that if you want to represent people, you got to find out what they want you to represent them about, and then you together you try and bring that into fruition. It ain't easy, but it's possible. And if you have the right, you have the will, and you have the mind to do it, then it can be done. That's what I aim to do.
All right. Dr. Friday, I want to ask you this question because we know you have limited time here today. Had an interesting conversation with a young individual this morning, works within the system, said that, he's a supporter of the administration, but he has grown tired and frustrated of what he is seeing now, the complacency of this ULP administration to effectively manage this country, because he's seen it within his own department where he's working, the frustration and whatnot. What do you say to young persons in this country? Because obviously, to build the economy, you've been talking a lot about jobs and creating jobs for young people, equal opportunity for young people. What do you have to say to a lot of those who are within the system who are worried that an NDP administration may mean for them a loss of a job?
Never happened.
How do you answer that to them?
Never happened. Never happened. Our mantra, our platform is about creating jobs. You don't create jobs by cutting people's jobs. So once people are performing and doing their work, everybody, nobody has anything to worry about. So there are certain persons within the ULP camp who will try to frighten people and tell them, oh, Eustace was going to take your job and so on and so forth, and Friday going to do this and do that and take your job. Nonsense. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. They have nothing to worry about. What I want to see is this country go forward. The public sector, they have a role to play in providing services that are needed to get our country moving and to keep it abreast with things as a modern country in this modern world. And so we have to give them the confidence to do their jobs. Not that always having to look over the shoulder and say, well, boy, I don't know, this is what I'm supposed to do, but I don't know if I should do it because I ain't hear from the big man yet. I ain't hear from the big woman yet as to whether doing my job, is approved. No, we will give people, because you have to free up people, give them the freedom to do their work. Once you're doing your job in the way that you're supposed to, you have the jurisdiction to function. You don't have to look over your shoulder at nobody else and saying, listen, should I do this or should I do that? No, you do your job and that's it. And once you're doing the right thing, you can never be wrong, as somebody says. But it's this is what people putting in the heads of public servants, that somehow NDP is not different, when in fact nothing could be further from the truth. You have nothing to worry about. We want to build a country. We want a thriving, professional public service, doing what is necessary to provide services to us in a social setting, but also to provide services to the business community so that they can get rid of some of this red tape. We are the country, we are 130th in the world in terms of ease of doing business, which means to say that the 129 countries out of 193 are better than us in ease of doing business. We can't afford that. A country little like ours, that people look around and they don't see clearly what we see here, the potential of this country. You have to come and persuade them. And then you tell me that you have red tape all over the place that putting restrictions in people's way. If they actually choose to come and invest here, or they're inquiring about investing here, we need to change that. We have to change the culture of the country and the place where people become more entrepreneurial, more risk taking, more trying to create something new rather than just simply sitting back and you know um, fitting into something that's already existing. Things only grow when you create new things, and that's what we want our people to be. And they are, I tell the young people as well, the change that will come, they're the ones that have to make it happen. That once they decide that they want change to come, and they say, Dr. Friday, we embrace your vision. We hear what you're saying. We're going to give you the chance to make it happen. And once you come with me and we join together and we say we're going to bring a change about in this country, nobody can stop it, Colin. And that is the power that the young people have. And I'm pretty sure that they will exercise it this election coming and create a tremendous change that will bring a brighter future for all of us in this country.
All right. Tomorrow, the New Democratic Party moves into North Leeward to continue to spread the message. You're going to be talking about the plans and the policies for the New Democratic Party within the constituency of North Leeward, and also talking about the Youth Guarantee Pledge. Again, how does young people fit into the NDP's Youth Guarantee Pledge in all of this?
Well, I explained this morning on the other radio program that I was on, that the issue of how do we um, provide hope to the young people of this country. How do we make them feel that this country is yours? You're going to be in it longer than, for much longer than me. And we want to create a better environment for you to thrive. So the Youth Guarantee Pledge is a commitment that I signed on to with young people. And what it says, it's not magic, and it's not something that's pie in the sky. It is real, basic stuff. Because what it says is that the NDP, in the first term of NDP government, we will increase the opportunity for you to get a job in this country. We could create more jobs in the country. And for those persons who don't have jobs, they want to work but they can't find a job, but they want to go into training to find a specific skill that they can do, that we will increase the number of training programs and good quality training programs that to offer courses so that they can upskill and make themselves more employable. And then the third component of that is, if you've done those things, you still don't have a job, we'll find a way in order to create an internship program so that the government or the private sector and the private sector work together to create an opportunity for that young person to get an internship for a year where the government pays a half of the wage, and so that there's the private sector, if it's a private sector entity, or if it's the government pays the whole thing. But the point is that you have an internship program so that you get not just a skill, but you get the experience, real work experience, because we intend for you to do real work when you're in these internship programs. And at the end of it, you have, a year of employment experience that you could put down on a resume and look for a job elsewhere. And who knows, maybe the employer that you're working with as an intern would say, this person adds value to my company, to my business, and I'll offer you a full-term permanent position. But the idea is to help people to get into the workplace, help them to get the skills that are necessary, help them to match them with the private sector, and so that they could find work in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We will also establish, an employment agency that essentially helps with that, so that we have the private sector basically saying, these are the things we need. Look, we don't have people in these areas. And that institution will then be tasked with saying, here are the training programs. Let's increase these kinds of programs and so forth, because this is what the economy demands. This is where people are going to get jobs. And all of this is the government playing an active role in the employment process. It's not just enough to say, we send you to school, you have your certificate and so forth, and then it's up to you to make the best of it. The next step of that is getting them to be productive, because they're the ones who are going to build St. Vincent and the Grenadines. When they are outside of the economy, first of all, there are a lot of negative things that may happen or they may do, but you want to keep them constructive. But most of all, when you have your young and your vibrant people working and putting their energies and their intellect into making a living and making whatever they do count, then our country will, it will grow. And then, of course, you have persons who will then be younger and they're contributing to NIS, which helps the NIS to be buoyant. All of these things are related. So we have a necessary role to play to make sure that those young people find work and they're employed here, and hopefully here and not somewhere else. That is what our vision for the country is, and that is what young people are. They're gravitating, Colin. They're excited about it. They tell when they see young people, they say, Friday go, let me get the thing done, man. I said, yeah, but you gotta help me. We have to get it done together. You gotta help me.
How does the NDP plan for sports and the cultural arts, sports and culture, to be a part of the overall development, the driving force to help build our economy in
Well,
this?
here's the thing. Here's the thing, Colin. Sports, the creatives, all of that is part of what we call the new economy. The things that people don't necessarily in the, think of as employment, as economic activity. They think it's just fun. You're playing sports or craft. That is just your hobby or it's just your culture when you're playing music and so forth. It's all of that, but it can also be a living. And so we have to look for ways to help those people who work in those fields to be able to maximize the potential that they can. But how do we help young people with sports? Our plan since the last election, we said that we will focus on not just on mega project, but you're focused on getting all of these hard courts and playing fields around the country functioning so that people have access to them. That you have lighted playing fields in strategic areas so that there is greater access to them and people can play in the evening time and do something constructive rather than something negative. So we will enhance those. And then we announced not so long ago our National Athlete Program, which says that the state has a role to play in helping our emerging and elite athletes to be able to reach their best potential. And so once there are certain standards that are met, that they will get support from the state. All of these are intended to enhance opportunities for young people in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And the young people are seeing this and they're loving it and they're saying, let's get it done.
All right. How do how do you see the negative impact of crime and the escalating crime and violence in this country having a negative impact on our ability to grow our economy in this country and for
Well,
a government's failure to deal with it?
security is number one, Colin. If you feel insecure, you're not going to do much. So you having the primary number one function of the state is to provide security for our people. And without that, you can't invest. People don't feel to engage in activities that generate, business and so forth. So we have to get that under control. Where you have crime is rampant and people don't feel that they're safe to go out, you're not going to go to a bar. You're not going to go to a restaurant. You're not going to go to a festival, to some function and so forth. You want to get back home where you feel safe. And those are the things that help to generate economic activity. So security is paramount. It's fundamental. That is why we have put so much emphasis on it. And the government has failed in that regard. They have failed miserably in generating security in our country and a feeling within our people, amongst our people, of that they are safe and that they feel that relatively secure in their space, either their home, their workplace, their communities, and so forth. That is something that we have to do because it's important for our own personal safety, but it's also important for growing up the economy because that is a basis upon which people make investment. If you don't feel secure about the security around you, then they're not going to put out money. You're not going to go and build and do something. You just wait, you try and wait, and wait it out. That is something that we have to change. This present government, they have flip flop on this issue for far too long, and it's time for them to basically move over and let somebody else do it.
All right.
But
Well, Dr.
Colin,
Friday, I know that you're pressed for time. If there's anything else that you would like to squeeze in before you jet off to your next meeting.
well, what I'm saying is that there's hope for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and the New Democratic Party is that vehicle for change. And I'm urging people, don't stay on the sidelines. Don't sit this one out. It's very, very important. Let us join together and bring about that change. We will see what can happen. I am urging the people of this country to take that initiative. Don't be afraid of anybody telling you, that you shouldn't vote or you can't vote against government and so on. The only way you can change is when you vote against government. That's the only way government will change. And we have the chance to bring that about. Last election, more people voted for the NDP than they did for the ULP. This time around, more people will do so. But we all have to take that responsibility to get it done. And particularly, I call on the young people and say to you that this is your chance to bring about the change. Once you decide to do it and we work together to get it done, nobody can stop you. And I'm looking forward to that partnership. And after that, to build a better country for all of us. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Friday. Well, there you heard it, ladies and gentlemen, from the president and leader of the New Democratic Party, Dr. the Honorable Godwin Friday. At this point, we will take the commercial break. For those of you viewing on social media, we thank you so very much for joining us. For those of you listening on Nice Radio, we encourage you to continue to listen to the program here on New Time. So we will take a break and we will be right back.